Yo, welcome back to Cipher Frequency, your weekly deep dive into underground and conscious hip-hop. I'm your host, Marcus, and today we're peeling back the layers on what might be two of the most surprising and provocative drops of 2025. Jay Electronica's three new additions to the A-written testimony universe: Leaflets, Power at the Rate of My Dreams, Mars, the Inhabited Planet, and also the long-anticipated Killah Priest, Abraxas 2. We're talking theology, politics, audacity, and bars. Buckle up. To understand what's happening, you've got to know where Jay came from and how rare a moment this is. For years, Jay Electronica has built a mystique around silence, absence, cryptic tweets, delayed albums. His A-written testimony, 2020, was a landmark, mixing Nation of Islam theology, psychedelic production, conspiratorial discourse, and Ghost Jay-Z vocals. Then, in September 2025, the floodgates opened. Over a 3-day span, he released a written testimony, Leaflets, a written testimony, Power at the Rate of My Dreams, EP, a written testimony, Mars, the Inhabited Planet Plus. He reissued Act 2, The Patents of Nobility, The Turn, though trimmed. This isn't just new music. It's a reclamation of narrative, a sudden unpacking of capital R reasons he's resisted the typical rap cadence. Let's unpack each. Leaflets dropped on Jay's 49th birthday. It feels like a prologue, a set of dispatches, fragments, essays, seeds. In tone, it leans more towards spoken word, interludes, sonic ephemera than straight rap. In effect, it mirrors Leaflets. Bits dropped into public, ephemeral, meant to be read between the lines. One notable line: he claims he lived with Diddy at one point. That's provocative, symbolic, conjuring the intersection of power, patronage, black wealth, and myth. Cultural angle. Leaflets is less about satisfying the playlist algorithm and more about staking claim. Here's the logic I'm working with. He's placing marginalia beside his magnum opus. It's resistant to commodification by design. As tracks blur into one another, the project refuses a hook-verse structure. That makes it immersive. You lean in, not skip. Some may call it inaccessible. Others will call it necessary. This EP is more compact, more pointed. 5 tracks, approximately 12 minutes. One standout is the collab with Westside Gunn and Hit Boy. The gravity of that pairing alone invites attention, pulling in street auteur energy with producer heft. In these tracks, Jay tightens his lens. Where Leaflets is diffuse chronicle, Power at the Rate of My Dreams delivers more conventional song structure, more distinct bars, more urgency. It's a midpoint, bridging the experiments and the heavier thematic outing in Mars. My favorite listening moment, when he juxtaposes cosmic ambition, at the rate of my dreams, with ground-level distrust of systems. The tension between transcendence and surveillance is baked into the production, strings, low drums, sampled dialogue. This is the centerpiece, the third act of Jay's trilogy in 2025. 8 tracks, approximately 16 minutes. From the jump, Dear Mr. Blaine, I Won, sets the epistolary, confrontational tone. Letter to Mars, almost meta, writing to the planet, interrogating exile. CNN and BBC are liars, featuring P.Y.T. Joyce. Raw rhetorical torque, calling into question the media apparatus. Anybody else know how to work ruby slippers? Wild title. Hints at metafiction, magical thinking, and disguise. Notably, he brings in spoken word snippets from Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan, the filmmakers, delivering a weird cinephile theology mix. Thematically, Mars is about colonization. not of planets, but of minds, beliefs, narratives. Jay treats Mars as both destination and mirror. Inhabited suggests that even the most remote terrains are already claimed, echoing the complaint that no space is truly free from gaze or control. Trackwise micro moments. On If You Won't Do It For You, Shine For Me. He flips self-care into ritual, spiritual resurrection in abstract. At Real Candace O, Tell Us More. Is ambiguous. Is it critique or bait? The title itself forces you to unpack your stance before the verse lands. The sample strategy is dense. Between ambient pads, chopped fragments, voiceovers, you feel the tectonic rumble of ideas pressing against boundaries. Compared to his past, there's a higher ratio of direct assertion. He's not whispering conspiracies, he's reclaiming narrative power. Switching lanes. Killah Priest, of the Wu-Tang extended family, releases Abraxas 2 in 2025. Priest has always danced on the edge of myth, scripture, esoterica, rap, Bible scholar energy. Abraxas 2 is no different. It's produced entirely by Purpose of Tragic Allies, per some early press. In advance, singles like Mustard Seed dropped, aligning with biblical parable imagery. Also, Nag Hammadi surfaced, pointing to the Gnostic texts, hidden scriptures, suppressed knowledge. What makes Abraxas 2 compelling? Depth over flash. This isn't radio rap. It's poetic, dense, coded. You'll want to listen twice. Spiritual dialectics. Priest navigates Christian, Gnostic, Quranic echoes, not submissively, but interrogatively. Resonance with the times. In an era of uncertainty, uncensored systems, mythic resurgence, Priest's brand of spiritual street philosophy offers something urgently introspective. Some listeners hail Abraxas 2 as among his best work in years, though formal reviews are sparse. And in underground circles, it's already getting nods for return to form. Now let's weave Jay's triad and Priest's opus together. What are the connective tissue, divergences, and what do they say about 2025 hip-hop? Spiritual scaffolding as storytelling. Both artists deploy religious imagery not as piety, but as world-building. Jay's obsession with Nation of Islam, cosmic justice, conspiratorial theology, Priest's Gnostic, biblical hermeneutics. They're evangelists of thought in their own right. Dissonance with mainstream structures. Jay drops 3 records in 3 days. It's anti-market logic. He's not waiting for rollout cycles. Priest has long existed off the grid. Abraxas 2 continues that lineage. Mythology as resistance. In a digital age that flattens history, both are resurrecting lineage, symbols, arcane reference points to anchor identity. Risking alienation. These works aren't designed for mass radio, TikTok lines, or feature-hungry audiences. You don't skim Mars or Abraxas 2. If you don't lean in, you might dismiss them as incoherent. But the cost of engagement is high, which is kind of the point. At a moment when hip-hop is negotiating attention, commodification, identity politics, Jay and Priest reclaim zone. Sovereignty over discourse. If you want to dig in, here's a starter map. From leaflets, pay attention to the interludes. What voices does Jay let in? What silences? On power at the rate of my dreams. Compare structure and density. Which verse cuts deeper? Which beat lingers? Mars, the inhabited planet, is a study in pacing. The crescendos, the breaks, the rhetorical questions. For Abraxas 2, go track by track. Parse the biblical allusions. Note the Gnostic vocabulary. See how Priest maps internal conflict to external systems. We're living in a moment where the mystical and the political are colliding in rap more than ever. Jay Electronica's 2025 triptych, and Killah Priest's Abraxas 2 aren't safe listening. They ask something of you, but they remind us of hip-hop's capacity to be ineffable, visionary, and rebellious at once. Thanks for tuning in to Cipher Frequency. If you like this breakdown, hit us up, hit the subscribe button. We'll go deeper into verses, raw voicemails, listener calls next week. Until then, keep your ears open and your mind sharper.